All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're joining us. We are covering India today and nationalism around the world. We just finished our World War One unit, talking about imperialism. World War One is over, okay, and there are a bunch of countries around the world that Europe has colonized due to the Industrial Revolution. They have the ability to kind of conquer and colonize these places. And now, we are getting into the 20th century, 1920, 1930, 1940, and these places don't exactly love being conquered. Don't exactly love having people from other continents ruling over them and taking all of their stuff. So, throughout the world, we have multiple places kind of dealing with this differently. And obviously, if you look around the world today, we don't have a lot of places that are colonized. I guess that's a well. We don't see multiple places with countries that are colonized by European countries today or Western countries in a traditional sense. And we need to kind of talk about how that happened. It happened in different ways in different places. Today we are covering India. So we will remember. We hope that we really hammered this pretty hard last unit. India, all right, was the typewriter, was the jewel, so to speak, a jewel in the crown of the British Empire. It provided resources and markets to Great Britain. All right, and markets. And so India was a very valuable colony to England. It was markets where it could sell a lot of their goods, but also a lot of natural resources like spices and, dyes, all sorts of like farmland, where it can basically supply British industries with the things that they need in order to produce things. And so we'll remember from the last unit that we had, it was ruled by the British East India Company, and then it got converted to direct control by Britain after the Sepoy Rebellion in 1857. And so England is ruling, England is basically ruling India at this point. Well, during World War One, many of the colonies, all right, India included, were promised independence if they fought for the British. And many Indians fought and died for the British cause in World War One, believing that the bargain was, hey, we're going to get independence. However, if we remember the Treaty of Versailles, the Treaty of Versailles didn't grant them independence, didn't really grant anybody independence. That's not what they were focused on. They were focused on punishing Germany for being very bad, for being bad boys and girls. So the Treaty of Versailles doesn't give them independence. So they're basically super mad about this. And so they had formed in 1885, right, long before World War One, the Indian National Congress. And the idea was that they wanted to reform British rule, right? They didn't necessarily want to get the British out, but that they wanted more protections, more fairness. They wanted to have a voice in their government. And so from 1885 until World War I, say 1885 to the early 1910, 1915, they were really trying to reform British rule, trying to have a voice. But after World War I, they began asking for full independence. All right, okay, I guess the reform thing, we've been working on that for 30, 40 years. It's not really going well. We think that maybe we should just be handling this instead of a bunch of white guys from an island halfway across the world. Maybe that's a good idea. Yeah. So we have that kind of going on. We're coming into 1930, I think it was. 1919. And so during this time, British laws are becoming increasingly, I think strict is the word is used in the PowerPoint. What do they say? Restrictive. And so in 1919, in what is known as the Amritsar Massacre, there's a protest. But under British law at the time, it's illegal to protest in India. And so this protest, this peaceful protest at a park is illegal. And so a bunch of British soldiers go there and just open fire and kill 400 people without any warning. They're just there to protest the British rule. So, yeah, not good, right? Not good. And so we can see that the tensions are rising, as a country, and there is a lot of tension there. I think that, again, I don't know the exact numbers. There's something like, 2,000 or 10,000 British troops that are actually British, and then you have a bunch of these sepoys that are basically Indian people that are helping the British, and then you have, like 200 million Indian people. I don't know the exact numbers, but like millions and millions and millions of Indian people. So there's a lot of tension as like, well, why are we sending all of our stuff and letting like a couple of thousand people take all of our stuff and basically, run, right? It's just, there's an inherent conflict. The British cannot possibly exert force over that large of a population halfway across the world if the cooperation is not populating, if the population is not cooperating. So in comes a famous